something I just wanted to talk about that I think doesn't really get approached as an issue much is when there's certain people we treat as sort of oversensitive in their reactions to certain actions of others or ourselves to the person that we treat as intrinsically oversensitive when the issue is not the action we or said person has done to the party in particular, whereas it's less the connotations of that action. Say we don't treat the right approach to a solution. If someone gets very upset over you not replying to a message or not asking how are you after they've asked how are you, or some sort of reactionary tone you carry in your voice unintentionally, there are certain people who will react emotionally and feel sort of negatively impacted by that, not because of the action itself. You're not to blame. I'm not saying that. It's the connotations of the action. It's sort of how this person is reacting to how what you've done sort of replicates a sort of situation they've experienced and sort of reminds them of past trauma, of a neglect, of a rejection, of an insignificant feeling, of an insecurity. These people aren't being overly sensitive to the fact that you haven't replied to them, you haven't said something to them, you've spoken in a certain way to them. They're feeling a sort of sense of a return of a past negative feeling. What you've done is not to blame, it's the connotations that you did not know about that are outside your belief, but you need to recognize the fact and not immediately jump on them as, oh, you're just overreacting, this isn't the reaction to that thing, because there's no set reaction to that thing, because nothing in life is a singular event. Everything is built upon everything before. Even something that seems so one-off can be impacted by the past experiences, and you can be completely unknowing of the past experience of the person, and you can do something that is seemingly just insignificant emotionally to you that really seriously brings about a return of really negative connotative emotions within the other person. And it's not your fault, no, that's not your fault. But when you turn around and go to that person and condemn them for their reaction, not to the action, but to what it's reminded them of, that puts you at fault, because you have accidentally, unintentionally, completely reignited some past trauma, some deep down insecurity, a fear, whatever. Unintentionally, of course, not to blame, but you have done that. And by going at them like, oh my god, you're just overreacting, this is oversensitive, you shouldn't be like this in this situation, you're pushing that deeper into that person, making it a more repressed sort of emotionary reaction, but making it stronger. So the next time this person has a certain action done to them that brings about this connotation, this reminder, the consequences can be a lot more serious and the showing a lot more dire. But what we should do is not that, why are you doing this? Oh, you're being a fanny about this whole thing. It's not that. It's maybe ask them why, as, politely and non-directly as you can. Was it something I did? And they're more likely to say no, and if they say yes, they don't mean it in the sense of what you've done, they mean it in the connotative sense. So then ask them why. Why does this upset you? But don't question them, don't direct them, but just try and make sure you understand that this person has triggers, this person has certain things that relate to certain standardized actions which can reignite certain negative emotions. Your actions aren't at fault, neither is the person's reaction. It's that disconnect, that miscommunication between the two of you, where this person is not taking your action, they're taking what it reminds them of, and it's triggering an emotional response, whereas you have no control over what it reminds them of. But if you know what is likely to be a reminder that is negative to that person, and you can avoid that, or at least understand that when you've done something unintentionally that's caused a negative reaction, you don't condemn that person for being oversensitive, insecure, so whatever. You just don't apologise for what you've done if it wasn't a fault. Apologise for how you made them feel, and avoid the word if. I'm sorry if what I said or how I said what I said upset you. I'm sorry that you were upset is a valid enough excuse. Yes, it doesn't take responsibility, but certain situations like this don't require responsibility when it's an unbeknownst, unknown trigger that you've spawned. Like, you just apologise, and it's a little thing, but it helps so much. And just make sure you're wary of the people around you and how you treat them in what you think is insignificant, because for others, the smallest things can remind them of terrible, upsetting, harmful and hurtful things they've had in past lives. Nothing is its own action. Everything is a culmination of every action, and every consequence is 1,000 consequences before that.